Hi, Paul from Contemporary Synth here. In these tutorials, we look at the technical and artistic capabilities of the Roland Fantom workstation. Today, I'm going to show you how to connect a guitar and use some of the amazing voices, features, and effects that the keyboard works when you integrate it with another instrument. The song I've picked for today is My Soul is Thirsting by Steve Angrisano. I think it's right in that contemporary segment that I play with my choir, where it's a little more peppy than a traditional hymn, but it's a little more accessible for an amateur ensemble than some of the professional stuff that's out there today. So let's go. I'm looking at an initial scene, and first thing I'm going to do is record the guitar. Now, I'm using an acoustic guitar, but this works just as well with an electric. I've tried it there also, and I need to use the headphones because this guitar is very loud live, and I'm not going to hear what you hear unless I listen to the headphones. All right, so the way you get the sound in is in the effects menu, audio in. Now I'm coming in through the mic jack. I don't hear it right now. Look at that. All right, and that's because this is a piezo pickup that generates a very low voltage. So if I went through a DI box or a preamp, I could probably use the line. This guitar has a preamp, but I'm not using it right now. Everything is middled out. It still gives you some boost, but that's not going to change the effect. All right, so this is a clean sound, and there's some reverb that comes on naturally that I like. The EQ is really fun. If I go to the EQ and edit it, you can push the gain up, but then you're going to get some hum, which is typical, so I'm not going to do that. I will push up the bass a little, and these pickups are notorious for being very loud in the mid area, so maybe I'll take the gain down a little there and push some of the treble up a bit. Interesting, you see the high gain is already set to minus. If you push that up, you'll get a hiss. I'll push it up a little, and let's see how it sounds differently. So I'll go up here. That's off. And I think I might have overdone it on the bass. All right, subtle but nice. Noise suppression turns off a hum when you're not playing. So if the overall volume gets below a certain threshold, it just turns off the channel. I'm not experiencing that here, but it doesn't hurt to have it. The real fun is with the master effects. So if I turn on the super filter, which is the default, you can play around with that the way you would effects over here. Where I really had fun with this is in some of these phasers. And with the phaser effects, you can set them to synchronize with your rhythm pattern, which is a great idea. Similarly, with the flanger, you can do the same thing. So that might give you some ideas. Chorus I'll come back to. Modulation is interesting. You can get some let's see. I'm not hearing that, but it's those are fun to play with. These are great. The delay is what you would expect. Here's the two-tap pan delay we've used before. That's fun. The one I'm going to use now, though, is just a simple chorus. Sounds nice. So let's record our track. Use the sampling menu for that. Now, the first few times I did this, I went to storage so you can see it on the drive. I'm going to go straight to pad now, and I like that because you can do multiple takes and not create a whole bunch of ghost files in your storage. So if I mess this up, I can do it again, and it just keeps overwriting the pad until I get it the way I want. Now, it says you're overwriting. It doesn't tell you what you're overwriting, but over here you can see that it's pad 1 of bank 1. If I hit enter there, it lets me pick. It's hard to see that box, but I have selected pad 1, and then I get that same menu. It makes more sense this time. My input is keyboard or input. I want input only. Although my guitar is mono, I'm going to put stereo because the chorus is in stereo. All right, I'm going to need a click, and my click's going to be at 115 for this song. Auto trigger lets it start when it goes above that threshold. I need to do capo 5 for this refrain. Use a pick. All right, let's do it. Trigger. And stop. Okay. Now, and let's see what we got. So it doesn't start right away. I'll need to change my start point to go to where the strumming starts, which looks like it's here. I can change my vertical to see that. Maybe it was too close. Okay. Because the sample's for the refrain, and I don't have a sample on the verse, I don't have to worry about the end point, but ordinarily you would bring that up to the end of the sample. What I do need to do is normalize. Normalizing calculates the amount of gain required to take the loudest part of your sample and move it up to the loudest allowable gain. And then it applies that amount to the whole track, to the whole sample, so it moves everything up as loud as it can be without saturating. And if you do that with every sample, they're all close to the same volume, hence normalizing. So you see it suddenly looks a lot bigger, but it isn't saturated. And that's in my pad. Okay? So the next trick is going to be getting my sample, which is in a pad, onto the pattern, which uses a zone. If I look at my pattern menu, I want to get my sample into my pattern here. Now, today I'm going to use 9 through 16. Ordinarily I'm using 1 through 8, but today I'm going to use 9 through 16, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I want to get my sample into 9. I need to get my pad into this zone, and you do that with the Scene Edit menu. Down here to Pad Zone Select, and I'm going to pick the zone I want, which is 9. And now when I look here, there it is. So I can press my sample from here, but I can also press from here. Okay? But how do I make it play the whole thing? So I can go to Pad Mode, Edit, and tape here. Go to Quick Edit. So I'm kind of 3 layers down. I can also go to Sampling, Pad Sample, Quick Edit. In any case, I'm looking at this, and Pad 1 shows that the sound comes out when the gate is on, which means the sound comes out when the gate is open, which you open by pressing the key. Also notice that the volume of the sample is proportional to the velocity of the key. Quiet, loud. All right, but I do want it to play the whole thing when I press the key. So I turn the gate off, I'm going to turn the loop on, and now I press it, and the sample will play in its entirety. The problem is, as you might guess, when it gets to the end, it's going to play it again. And I don't want that to happen because I want to go into my verse. Now, if I turn the loop off, it will play the whole time, and it will not repeat at the end. But every time I press the key, it restarts. So it's not easy to stop. I can press this. It won't stop it. Stop doesn't stop it. Volume doesn't stop it. You have to hold 4 times quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. How's that for random? You can do Shift Panic if you forget. But this is how I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4 in my pattern. So I go to my pattern, and I don't have to hit record. I'm just going to use the pattern recorder. I've already pressed the note. There it is. Now if I play my pattern, it launches. But also notice what happens here. The sample is not repeating, the pattern is repeating. So what I'd need to do there is go to my pattern and edit it. Go to my pattern and change the loop setting and turn the loop switch off. So now my pattern will play 1 measure and stop. Alternatively, I could have run this length out to 10, which is how long the refrain is, and then it would get to the end, and it would end with all the other patterns. But I'm going to turn the loop switch off so it plays the sequence 1 time and does not repeat. Okay, now on to more traditional stuff. I want to record the drums. The reason I'm in channel 10 is that enables me to record an existing rhythm pattern. Those can only be recorded into channel 10. But when I was looking at the patterns that were out there, I couldn't find any that I liked. So I downloaded the Roland Cloud Manager and I started looking around on Roland Cloud for the free downloads. I still couldn't find any patterns, but I did find some really interesting drum kits. So it took a while to figure it out, but I downloaded a file called EKZ003, put it on my thumb drive, and the instructions say put it in the root folder of the thumb drive, turn off the keyboard, put the thumb drive in memory, and you need to hold down the tempo button when you turn it back on, and that brings you to an input menu or an import menu. You import the file. You've got to turn the keyboard off to get out of that menu. You bring it back up, and then your files are there. And I will show you where they are and how they sound. So let me start this. This is the standard kit. And if I hit enter and go down past the common, past the user, I get to here, EKZ003. This was on the website, this was called Session Drums or Session Kit. And these are kind of fun. I really like this one. Love that compressed snare. So I'm going to go with that tone. I did not find a pattern I liked, but I did find a tone that I like. And I'll go back to my pattern, and I'm going to record that here. No click. Length is 10. Remember, we set the tempo to 115. I'm going to set my weight note on. And let's do it. 1, 2, 3. My soul. Do, do, do. Notice how the drum pattern repeated, but the sample pattern did not because we turned its loop switch off. I'm going to disable it now so we don't have to listen to it every time. And now I'll record a bass. Nothing fancy here. I'm going to go with the percussive bass. No click. 10 measures. 1, 2, 3. My soul. And finally, we're going to do an electric piano just for some ornaments on top. I've picked a different one each time. We'll do that one this time. No click, length is 10, weight note 1, 2, 3. My turn the sequence or the sample back on, and that is my refrain. So I'm going to group that, set it. Okay, go to my group menu and make it 10 measures. And that is the refrain. Now let's do the verse. In order to do the verse, I am going to record an actual drum pattern this time to show you how that works. But if I hit record right now, it's going to play the whole pattern A. So I need to disable those. I didn't mean to launch it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't mean to launch that one either. Long press. There we go. Now I'm ready to record this one. I need to turn off the weight note or it's going to start as soon as I start my pattern. Length is 9 in this case. What's going on here? Undo. No click, no weight note. Length is 9. And now I can go to the pattern. I'm going to stay with the same kit. I picked Pop 2 because it has a fill that I like. Now, when the pattern is playing, make sure I didn't mess that up. When the pattern is playing, you can drum along with it. And you can do the different fills and other options on the pattern itself. And this doesn't matter because I can change it over here later. All right, so all I need to do is start this somewhere. 1, 2, 3. Oh God, you are my God. I need to go back here so I'm ready for the fill. Da 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 da. Hits. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, fill. And that is the drums for the verse. And I will quickly put bass down the same way I did before. No click, length is 9. Now I do need my weight note. And it starts on A minor. Da, da. And electric piano. Length is 9. No click, and start, because I don't come in until measure 5 on this one. With an A minor. A minor, G, F, C, G4. And that's it for my verse. Come down here, set. Okay, group, run the group out to 9. And let's make a song. Refrain, verse, refrain. The first refrain I'm going to play along. On the verse, this guitar, I'll play the guitar separately. That'll be exposed. And then I'll do a solo on the final refrain. Let's set that up now. Now I don't need the capo. And doing one set of chords with the capo and one set of chords without the capo gives you a little thickness there, which is a kind of a best practice. All right, so before I play this, so I can hit play and it's going to go. Before I do that, I want to adjust my guitar sound. I still have the chorus on from before, but this time I'm going to turn the effect off while I play over the existing track. But then when I do my solo, I want to have something that helps me cut through and be heard and maybe a different feel. And in this case, I'm going to go with one of these combinations and pick this guy. That should be noticeable, right? Now it is a little much, so I'm going to turn the overdrive down a bit. I'm going to turn the chorus up and get a little more melodic and set the rate to match. I think that's going to be fun. The way I'm going to switch that on and off is using the increase and decrease. So if that's off, I'll use that to turn it on, and I'll use a pedal to do that. So I'm going to hold down Shift and press my pedal and find increase, which is down towards the end. There. I'm going to start the whole song with this other pedal. Hold down Shift and press that. I guess I could have just hit the arrow a couple times. This is down around number 99. There are little numbers up here. Okay. So I have to go back to my effect to make sure I'm on the right button. And let's practice it to make sure it works. So this should be start, stop, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this should be effect. All right. Turn it off. And this is My Soul is Thirsting by Steve Angersano. My soul is thirsting for you, oh Lord, thirsting for you, my God. My soul is thirsting for you, oh Lord, thirsting for you, my God. Thirsting for you, my God. Oh God, you are my God, and I will always praise you. In the shadow of your wings I cling to you, and you hold me high. Well, there you go. That's how you hook the guitar up and use some of the effects and the samples and the pads and the zones and the cloud manager. And this keyboard continues to amaze me. This song, I will post the link to the publisher site where you can get the lead sheet and hear his recording, which is really good. So I recommend that if this is the kind of music that interests you. I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope you learned something. I hope you're getting as much enjoyment out of this keyboard as I am. If this is working for you, please consider subscribing, and I'll keep making more. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.